Hey guys, thanks for watching the Chen Dynasty. It's Mike Chen. You know, there is a stereotype that Asians are pretty healthy individuals, probably because a lot of us are really thin, but I do think this statement is largely true as countries in Asia, especially those in East and Southeast Asia, continue to rank as places with the lowest obesity rates in the world. And just speaking for Chinese people, honestly, we do take a lot of walks, but not many of us really go to the gym, so I guess it's really about the food. I mean, Asians do tend to eat a lot of soy, veggies, and not so much when it comes to dairy products, and we seem to have a superpower when it comes to not being affected by rice, because we eat that stuff pretty much every single day. But if you're one of those people who think that everything you're gonna find in a Chinese restaurant is gonna be good for you, then I'm here to tell you that is just not true. And although there are healthy options in every restaurant, I mean even McDonald's, most of what people order from Chinese restaurants, and I'm just talking about Chinese restaurants in the US, are probably some of the unhealthiest foods you can ever eat. Also, I do want to say that a lot of the foods sold in Chinese restaurants in the US or Americanized Chinese restaurants, I wouldn't even really call it Chinese food, or at least traditional Chinese food. So with that said, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about some of the worst foods you can ever order in a Chinese restaurant. Number one, General Tso's chicken. And this is probably the most popular non-Chinese Chinese dish ever. And I do have to admit, it is a guilty pleasure of mine. I mean, deep fried, crispy, piping hot chicken with sweet, spicy sauce. I mean, what's not to love? But that's also what's so unhealthy about this dish. It's deep fried chicken smothered with super sweet sauce. Also, there's usually no veggies in that dish, and it typically comes with rice. So it's basically kind of like eating Kentucky Fried Chicken with barbecue sauce served with a huge order of rice. I think if I had to compare, that would be my Western equivalent. And an average order of General Tso's chicken will have around 1,500 calories and a whopping 60 grams of sugar. Also, some of you may not know this, but typically Chinese restaurants will fry this dish in what is called dark oil, which is oil that is very seldomly changed in a restaurant. I remember having to sneak this stuff like a contraband from my parents' buffet, and if I was ever caught by my parents, let's just say the 60 grams of sugar won't be the only thing hitting my butt. Number two, lo mein, any lo mein. Hey, you know what? I love these things as much as anyone, but next time you order these delicious but oh so bad for you noodles, just take a closer look at them. I mean, they shine like Beyonce at a concert, except what's giving these things its glow is just a ton of oil. And although they may look really pretty, they are packed with more sodium than you need in a single day, and are mostly just refined carbs that do nothing but spike your blood sugar level. A typical order of these things will cost you around 1,400 calories. Number three, egg rolls. You know, some people take a look at these massive edible paperweights and tell themselves that, you know what, it's okay, they're filled with veggies, they can't be all that bad. Well, they are, and honestly, in my opinion, they just taste so awful. I mean, it's almost all fried dough with just a little bit of shredded cabbage inside and maybe a little bit of minced pork. Also, just one egg roll will set you back around 200 calories. And yeah, that's without that sweet and sour dipping sauce. Number four, fried rice. I love rice. You know, I just absolutely love rice because one, it's delicious, and secondly, I love eating thousands of something. And fried rice is another guilty pleasure of mine, especially when you cook it with some eggs and roast pork, drizzle with some hot oil. It's just a perfect breakfast for me. Unfortunately, flavor comes with a price, and here the price is calories, about 1,500 worth per serving. And because fried rice is usually just stir-fried white rice, which don't really have much nutritional value and usually won't come with any veggies. Number five, crab rangoon. Okay, I have no idea when this became a Chinese dish because traditional Chinese foods don't usually contain cheese, but this has become a super popular item at Chinese restaurants, and yes, it is as bad for you as it seems. Although I do love this thing, it is another item I try to sneak from our buffet. I know this dish is bad for me because it's basically just fried dough stuffed with cream cheese and crab. It's not even real crab, it's just imitation crab. And just one order of these ninja star looking things may not set you back much in your wallet, but will set you back around 400 calories and 28 grams of fat. Next up, something I really love and my body hates, Chinese spare ribs. These are sort of like your traditional barbecue ribs, except that they are not fall off the bone tender. In fact, they are downright tough sometimes, but taste so good with its smoky flavor and sweet sauce. But just a tiny 3-ounce serving can net 300 calories and 26 grams of fat, and I can never stop at just one. Number seven, pan-fried dumplings. I love dumplings. I have a channel named after dumplings, and if I ever get a dog, its name is gonna be Dumpling. But what I don't love is what dumplings do to my body. And if you were ever on the frozen dumpling diet like I was, you'll know what I mean. This is especially true with dumplings you find on Chinese buffets and takeout restaurants because they have the super thick doughy skin, and they'll usually come out to around 100 calories per dumpling. I actually really wish I didn't find out about this because my typical order of dumplings is around 25 to 30. Also, I ate 36 in 10 minutes once. Not my proudest moment, but yeah, it really was. Next, youtiao. This is a dish that is extremely popular in China. It just makes me really wonder how we do actually manage to stay thin, because this is basically dough that is stretched out and fried. And when the dough absorbs all that fatty oil, it soaks it in and balloons up, and then we basically just eat that. I mean, it's so good, but each one has about 500 calories, and usually that's not the only thing we eat. We usually dip that in something else, like soy milk or tofu soup, and everybody in China eats this, like little kids, like every single morning, every single day that we are alive, we just eat this. How do we, I don't know. Next up, one of my favorite dishes in the world, Mao Tofu. If you don't know, Mao Tofu is a Sichuan dish. It's basically diced up tofu soaked in fermented bean sauce, covered in chili oil with minced pork. Just one of the best dishes you can ever have. And unfortunately, there's really no healthy way to cook this dish. I mean, the tofu part is healthy, but because it has so much meat, so much fermented bean sauce, which is really, really salty, this dish comes out to be around 400 calories per cup. And don't forget, you cannot eat this dish without rice. And usually a lot of rice because it's a saucy dish. And even though I just said all this, I'm just gonna block it out of my mind. I don't care, I'm gonna continue to eat it. And finally, something I've been eating ever since I can remember, the Chinese steamed bun. This thing, it may look so beautiful, so smooth, so fluffy, so pillowy. You just wanna lay your head on it. But this innocent, beautiful bun is not so innocent. Traditionally made from just regular white flour, it's basically nothing but refined carbs. And it's something we eat oh so much in China. I mean, we eat it with stir-fried dishes, we eat it with soup, we eat it with congee. I used to just smother it with hot oil and eat it like a hot oil sandwich. Also, at least in northern China, the steamed buns, they're never small, okay? They're usually the size of my head. So yeah, like I said, I really don't know how Chinese people manage to stay slim. I mean, it seems like every single day, all we eat is rice and noodles and buns and fried dough. We even have a dish where we put the fried dough inside noodles and we eat that dipped in soy sauce. I don't know, I just call it the Asian genes. I have no idea how this works. But yeah, those are some of the unhealthiest Chinese dish you can ever eat from a Chinese restaurant. So there you go, guys. If you're trying to lose weight, maybe avoid some of these dishes, or you could just be like me and just not care. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you later.